If you're a self-taught sound tech, which is probably most of you, learning EQ on your own is a really big challenge. In this video, I'm teaching the very basics of EQ to Phoebe Sanders, a very talented banjo player that I met while doing an on-site training at a church in Southern California. Let's jump in and eliminate the mystery for you so you can start using this tool right away. Like I said, audio is a language. The more you learn the language,
I have a decent ear, like I play by ear. So
right.
It's odd that I can't hear it just yet, but it's probably something.
It's just a different way of listening. It's kind of like if you can learn a language, but then if the language also includes inflection, like, you know, Mandarin or whatever, where like, or Vietnamese, where pho is different than pho.
Right.
Yeah, it's a different way of thinking it. So if we think about levels, right? Our fader is a broadband EQ. It turns up and down all the frequencies together. Okay. But here on our equalizer,
frequency is high and low.
High and low. Well, pitch is the perception of frequencies.
Okay.
But frequency is actually happening and can be measured in time and space without perception. Okay. So frequency is the number of times that an object vibrates in a certain amount of time. So if you tune your banjo and you play A440 on your banjo, that banjo string is tensioned and length and all that stuff. When you hit it, it's wanting to sympathetically vibrate 440 times per second. Okay. That's what we call hertz. Right. We abbreviate it HZ, and some German scientist figured out like a bunch of work on periods and how all that works. So that's how it crosses over from science to this.
And is that the human ear can hear 20 to 20,000 hertz? Is that what
correct?
Okay.
Yes.
I've done a music tech class and I forgot half of it. So
yes.
Like
So here on our equalizer screen, the very bottom of what we have to control is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Wonderful. And this doesn't show the entire graph with everything in between.
20 hertz sounds lower, 20,000 sounds higher.
Correct. So up here is the range where, like, if you ever had an old tube TV and you turn it on and you hear that high-pitched squeal.
Our toaster does that, and my parents can't hear it. It drives me nuts.
That's awesome. So up here at 20,000 hertz, that's those super high frequencies that we tend to lose with age. Down here is like the rumble of a diesel truck on the other side of a concrete wall. So in the middle is everything else that we can hear, but these are kind of the edges of our perception and how that works. Within here, we have a bunch of different reference points of different frequencies. So, you know, the old, this is a testament of the emergency broadcast system. Before it went the, right? They went the, and you got the color bars. So that could be either 500 hertz, right around here, or it could be like 1 kilohertz or 1K, right? So those are normal test tones that are used. And there are lots of other frequencies that correspond to notes or things that we have in nature. So each one of these dots we call an EQ band. So you have a home stereo, and it probably has high, middle, or lower, bass, treble, and mid, or maybe just bass and treble. That's the same thing as if we take these and then turn them into shelves. So that's a shelf. Turn that to a shelf too. We can take this one and turn it into a shelf as well. So your home stereo probably operates like this, and then one of these real wide in the middle. So you can vary the overall shape of how your speaker system sounds on that home stereo, right? So these are level controls, but within certain parts of the frequency spectrum. So there are different bands. We can adjust the relative level. So here on the fader, we adjust all the frequencies together. That's all of these going up and down. But if we want to take some of the frequency bands and turn them up and down relative to the other ones, we can do that with these different frequency bands. So we could take this one and we can say, oh, I want to be very selective. There's one note on my banjo that sticks out too much, and I figured out based on what note it is and how I know my banjo's tuned, this is the frequency that's bugging me. So I can take this and I can lower its relative level, and maybe I'm a little more selective, it's just that note. Or maybe I'm less selective and it's a lot of the notes around here too that I'm not liking, or that sound out of balance.
One bum string that's
right.
Weird. Okay.
Or your pick has a little nick on it, so that one string goes bang every time. You want to try to balance the level of that so that the frequencies are more even. So we can equalize to correct for tonal imbalance, where like, oh, this sounds a little bit too much, there's too much pick click or, you know, pick sound on the banjo.
I play
want
claw hammer,
Oh,
so I don't
okay.
use picks, but that does mean
Right.
I'm bouncing off the top string all the time.
Right.
So I have that drone going the whole time.
Uh-huh.
So this is cool because I could, if the drone sounds bad or not loud enough, I could.
Right, you could try to correct tone with EQ. You could also just kind of give it an overall shape. So let's say there's something you're playing and you're like, you know what, I want this banjo to sound like it's farther away. So I'm gonna take and lower the frequencies that give us the perception of closeness. So these frequencies up here in this range between like 2 and 5K, let's change to this one. These are what are called like the presence frequencies. So if we want something to sound farther away, we could reduce that and it's going to sound like it's more in the distance. Or if we want it to sound like it's closer, or if it feels a little bit dull, we can bring it a little bit closer and get a little bit more of the attack on the strings.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we can change the overall shape of bass and treble like we would do on our speaker system, or we can try to correct things in a narrower part of the frequency spectrum. So we have 3 main parameters on each of these bands. We have the gain, how much we turn it up and down. We have the center frequency, you can see that listed here. This would be the horizontal axis. And then we have, I don't think you can pinch on this. Nope, this touchscreen won't let you pinch. You have to go over here to change the width. So this bandwidth or Q can either be very wide or very narrow. And if you want extra credit in your class, you can think of this number here as the bottom part of a fraction of how many octaves it's going to take out with it.
Okay.
So if we're at 2 octaves, it's going to be affecting kind of 2 octaves overall. That's the idea. I don't know if that's the precision in the math,
Okay.
right? But that's how that's supposed to work. If we go to a higher number, it's like instead of 1/2 of an octave, now we're to 1/10 of an octave,
Okay.
right?
Do these dots have names?
They normally do.
Okay.
We might have this called low, low mid, and high,
Got it.
right? Or sometimes they might just be labeled with numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
So with newer gear, you know, like I could take this one, and if I don't have it as a high shelf, if I have it as a bell curve, there's nothing that tells me I can't take this down to 35 hertz and turn it up there. But in the order of things, to keep yourself a little bit more organized, you might want to keep them in their proper order, but there's no rule saying you have to.
Okay.
So that's EQ and all that stuff. Is there anything that I left out, or you have any other questions about how it works?
I think it makes sense. Is there any way we could, like, listen and
Yeah.
what changes stuff?
What do you want to do it on? You want to do it on guitar?
Let's do guitar, yeah.
Okay. One reason why you might not be messing around with EQ is because you're a good sound tech. You don't want to mess stuff up in the middle of rehearsal, and especially not a service. One way to play with EQ in a low pressure environment, like what we're doing in this video, is to set up virtual sound check, a way to record all the individual inputs coming into your console and then play them back as if you have a live band on stage, but without having to have anyone rely on you or even hear the crazy stuff that you do with EQ. To help you get it all set up, I made a free virtual sound check challenge so that you can follow the videos and set it up on your console with your recorder of choice. I walk you through all the steps and all the equipment that you need. It's really a great resource. You can check it out through the link in the description below. It's called the Virtual Sound Check Challenge. Okay, now back to the video. So we can select it here.
Okay.
There's an extra vocalist in there, but
Waiting for still.
yep.
Okay.
So to flatten it, we can just hit this button and then it becomes, and we can use the high pass filter and low pass filters.
Oh, whoa.
But hear how much resonance is there when we don't turn up the high pass filter. So right there, that's at the point where the lowest string in a normal standard tuning is going to be.
Oh, okay, and that's what's on here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So we can make it a little bit easier to listen to, or take out some of the droning sound on the low end with the high pass filter there.
Okay.
And then we can go to the EQ bands and you can play around with stuff and hear how it sounds. So on the top and bottom, we can switch this to a low shelf. And so instead of this being a bell curve that takes stuff on either side, now this will take everything there and below at the same amount. It's easier to see if the high pass filter isn't on.
Okay.
It's brought up this and everything below that at the same amount.
Okay.
It does it the same in the cutting direction. But if we switched this to a bell curve, this would come back up and this would be the kind of the center point. So if we hit this button, watch how the shape changes. So now everything below this point came back up. It's not getting cut anymore. We're just cutting at this point. If we switch it to the shelf, everything below this point gets cut. And by the same amount. That's in contrast to the high pass filter, where this takes it out and it keeps taking it down farther and farther the lower you go. So sometimes there's percussive stuff that you don't necessarily want booming through, but the microphone doesn't know that, or the pickup doesn't know that, so the high pass filter can help with that. The low shelf can help balance that so that it sounds natural again. Do you want to hear it on the piano?
Yeah. Should I flatten it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Select it. Maybe we're hearing it through the monitors. The piano is great because it has basically all the notes.
Yeah.
You know, like you can really hear what the different things sound like through the whole thing. Not at the moment.
Okay.
I mean, it's dun, 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 so kind of medium low. So you can hear just what the percussive elements are doing. So that's just like the attack of the hammers on the strings.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's on.
Did that do anything? Or
It didn't sound like it was doing anything. Okay, so pushing it turns it on. So you could use the high pass filter and low pass filter to kind of make a band pass so that you can just hear what this part of the frequency spectrum sounds like.
Yeah. So it kind of sounds like it's underwater if you take all the high out.
Yeah.
I did a video with my waterproof banjo and I put the mic underwater and that made it sound all like underwater and the banjo didn't make noise underwater, it just did like I'm learning so much. This is excellent.
Once you understand the functions of EQ and how to get around on it, it can be helpful to have some suggestions and starting points for different instruments and voices so that you can have a guided tour of how to use it professionally. That's why I made the live mixing field guide. It's my go-to starting places for where I will start to listen to different inputs before I start applying EQ. You can try out different frequency points that tend to build up or be lacking on certain instruments so that you can get them polished and sounding great. There are physical and ebook copies available, and it comes with a free mini course as well. You'll want to get your copy at livemixingfieldguide.com or through the link down in the description below. DJs do that too. So they'll do like a filter as they're, you know, like, and it gets brighter over time. But you hear the cymbals that are bleeding into the mic too,
Okay, so you could get rid of those if you wanted to.
at the expense of the hammer sound. So the sustaining overtones are getting cut out there.
Okay, so then when you're like isolating and sweeping and stuff, that's doing really specific fixes to stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you can keep them wide to more general shaping. You can keep them narrow to fix like a specific problem.
Can we try on the vocals
Yeah,
so I can see?
the popping. It could be a bad connection with the cable.
So you do the high pass filter between 150 and 200.
Let's start over with it.
Okay. High pass filter is the thing on the bottom.
Correct.
Right.
It lets everything higher pass.
Right. So we take it between 150 and 200.
Come awake, come and rise up from the grave. Christ is risen from the dead. We are one with him again.
Double tapping resets it.
Rise up from the grave. The weight of all our sin, you bow to.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
You can hear what it's doing by tapping the knob in to bypass it.
No scoffers.
You hear how there's a bass coming through now that wasn't there?
Like bleeding in.
So we're cutting out all that bleed.
Okay. Got it. So that's the first step, so we make sure what we're working on is just the vocals.
Right, well, we're cleaning it up and we're getting rid of a bunch of stuff that's not necessary.
Got it. Okay. So then we pull down the low shelf to balance warmth / thinness. So we'd go to this guy.
Yep, the red one. And if it's not on shelf, you can tap that button there to switch back and forth between bell curve and shelf.
All our sin, you bow to none but heaven's will. No scheme.
Oh, is this
So-
doing anything if it's on this side of the curve?
Not really.
No, okay. So I don't
So you can see the total, this shaded blue section is the total combination of all the different bands and high pass filters that you're doing.
You reign forever. Let your church proclaim.
You could tap over here if that's easier. Oh no. There you go. You can grab the red one now.
Come awake, come awake, come and rise up from the grave. Christ is risen from the dead. We are
Move to your right a little bit with it a little bit more. There you go.
come and rise up from the grave.
So this is trying to balance the warmth and thickness.
Yep.
So is it warmer if you go down and thinner if you go up?
Nope, it's the opposite. So it gets warmer as you go up. It gets thinner as you're turning down the bass frequencies.
You down in strength. You reign forever. Let your church proclaim. Christ is risen from the dead, trampling over death by death. Come awake, come awake, come and rise up from the grave. Christ is risen.
So I would pull that down a little bit more to make it a little bit. No, I would pull it down below. I usually don't boost around there because that's where the microphone itself is creating a boost.
No scoffer's crown, no burden great can hold you down in strength. You
All right, now turn it off and hear the difference.
let your church proclaim.
It's just on the very bottom end.
From the dead, trampling over death by death. Come
Now go to the 500 and see if we can get it a little less covered. Yep, so you can take the orange one. Yep.
We are one with him again. Come over.
We're gonna pull it down to try to take out some of that covered sound.
From the grave, beneath the weight of all our sin, you bow to none but
So I would make it a little bit thinner, or sorry, a little bit narrower.
of hell. No,
So where the width control is this knob over here.
no burden great can hold you down in strength. You reign forever. Let your church proclaim. Christ is risen from the dead.
Okay, now leave it about there, and now turn off the EQ.
Come awake, come awake, come and rise up from the grave. Christ is risen from the dead.
All right, take the gain down to about 6 dB on that orange one, so you can see the number here on how much it is. Now try it and hear the difference.
Beneath the weight of all our sin, you bow to none but heaven's will. No scheme of hell, no scoffer's crown.
Kind of hear it.
It kind of makes this section that has the presence kind of just pop out a little bit more. So there's a basic overview of how EQ works and how you can get started with it. Don't forget to sign up for the virtual soundcheck challenge so you can get started playing with it in a low pressure environment. Be sure to subscribe to Phoebe Sanders' banjo channel, which is a lot of fun. And if you haven't subscribed here yet, please consider doing so. It helps me out and it doesn't cost you a thing. Be sure to hit that thumbs up and comment down below what was your favorite part or the most eye-opening part of how EQ works from this video. Remember, it's all about the low end, avoid the soundcheck solo, and nobody leaves church humming the kick drum. We'll see you next time on Attaway Audio.